Okay, so continued from the previous video. As I was telling, acetic acid, although it contains 4 hydrogen, it is a monobasic acid. And similarly, phosphorus acid H3PO3, phosphorus acid is a dibasic acid. Now, students sometimes may get confused that in acetic acid there are 4 hydrogens, so it will produce 4 hydronium ions. And similarly in H3 there are 3 hydrogens, so it will produce 3 hydronium ions. It's not that. Their structure is such, that only in case of acetic acid, only say this hydrogen is replaceable. So that means only it can form ions. It forms H plus ions. Now this 3 hydrogen which is connected with carbon, they are non-replaceable. They remain intact with carbon, so they does not ionizes. The similar in phosphorus acid, that only 2 hydrogen is replaceable and 1 hydrogen remain in phosphorus, with phosphorus. Now first you see acetic acid, CH3COOH. So acetic acid, it forms H plus and CH3COO minus. So this H3 remains with this, and here also H plus, and then it produces 1 hydronium ion per molecule, H3O plus. Okay, so therefore acetic acid is a monobasic acid. Now similarly phosphorus acid is a dibasic acid. Now if you see the structure of phosphorus, looks like this, so this is H3 and PO3, so that's phosphorus acid. This hydrogen is replaceable, this is replaceable, so these 2 hydrogen, this splits and they form 2 H plus ions, and with that 2 H plus ion they form 2 hydronium ion. But this hydrogen which is connected with phosphorus is non-replaceable, and therefore it does not ionize. So hence phosphorus acid is a dibasic acid. Okay, now is preparation of acids. Now the preparation of binary acids. Now what are binary acids? Binary acids means which contains only 2 elements. Naturally one of them is hydrogen, HCl, say HBr, H2S, HI, all these are binary acids, and these binary acids can be prepared by direct combination. Okay, that is also known as synthesis. So like H2 plus Cl2, and in presence of diffuse sunlight will give you HCl. Okay. Same thing for HBr and HI, because all these are halogens, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So same for bromine and similar for iodine, we will get HBr and HI respectively. In all case diffuse sunlight, because these 3 reactions, they are explosive in direct sunlight and they are negligible in dark. So hence diffuse sunlight is preferable. And similarly hydrogen, when passed with boiling sulfur, so boiling sulfur you get hydrogen sulfide. Now this hydrogen sulfide has a characteristic smell of rotten eggs. Okay, the characteristic smell of rotten eggs. So these are how we can prepare binary acids by direct combination. Okay. Okay, the next method of preparation, is from acidic oxides and water. Now when we dissolve an acidic oxide in water, we get acids. Now acidic oxides, what are acidic oxide? Now acidic oxide are also known as acid anhydride. Which actually means acid minus water. So that means you can understand, when we add acid with water, acidic oxide with water, we get acid, and when from acid if you subtract water, you get acidic oxide. So acidic oxides are also known as acid anhydride. Now what are acidic oxide? They are non-metallic oxide which dissolves in water to form their corresponding acids. Now there are some exceptions. Non-metallic oxide means the exception is this carbon monoxide, nitric oxide. Now these are called neutral oxide. So these are These are also non-metallic oxide, but these are neutral oxide. But leaving this, water, water is also a neutral oxide. But leaving this, whatever non-metallic oxide we have, those non-metallic oxides are generally known as acidic oxide because they dissolve in water to form their corresponding acid. Like carbon dioxide, like sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, so you can say phosphorus pentoxide and nitrogen dioxide. You see, all these are non-metallic oxides. When they dissolve in water, they form their corresponding acids, H2CO3. Like sulfur dioxide dissolve in water, it produces H2SO3 sulfurous acid. So this is sulfurous acid. And when sulfur trioxide dissolve in water, it forms sulfuric acid. When phosphorus pentoxide dissolve in water, it produces phosphoric acid. So all these are corresponding acids. Okay. And this nitrogen dioxide is known as a mixed acid anhydride. Mixed acid anhydride because it dissolves in water and it gives a mixture of two acids. Mixture of two acids, that's the nitrous acid and nitric acid. Okay. And others are known as acid anhydride, like we say carbon dioxide is an acid anhydride of carbonic acid. Sulfur dioxide is an acid anhydride of sulfurous acid. Sulfur trioxide is an acid anhydride of sulfuric acid. And similarly, we say nitrogen dioxide is a mixed acid anhydride because it dissolves in water and it produces a mixture of two acids, that's nitrous acid and nitric acid. Okay. Okay, the next method is by oxidation of non-metals like sulfur and phosphorus. This nitric acid, is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes sulfur to sulfuric acid, H2SO4, and produces H2O and NO2 respectively. Similarly, nitric acid oxidizes phosphorus to phosphoric acid, H3PO4, and here also it produces H2O and NO2. So very important reaction, this all sulfur and nitric acid gives you sulfuric acid, water and nitrogen dioxide. Phosphorus and nitric acid gives you phosphoric acid, water and nitrogen dioxide. Okay. Okay, the next method is salt plus non-volatile acids gives you another salt plus a volatile acid. Now first of all you have to understand what are volatile and what are non-volatile. Volatile means which evaporates quickly. Which evaporates quickly in room temperature. Okay, so there are a lot of other liquid also, like petrol, spirit, perfume, all these are volatile because they evaporate quickly. Like this, non-volatile, when I say non-volatile acid, non-volatile means which does not evaporate quickly as volatile acids. So out of the three most common mineral acids, sulfuric acid is a non-volatile acid, but volatile acid, HCl and HNO3. Now we can use non-volatile acid is used to prepare a volatile acid, but a volatile acid is not used to prepare a non-volatile acid. Okay, I'll explain you. You see, as I told you, this is a non-volatile acid and these two are volatile acids. So that means you can use sulfuric acid to prepare hydrochloric acid and nitric acid, but you cannot prepare sulfuric acid from HCl and HNO3. Okay, I'll explain you later. But first of all, let's see how it is prepared. So a salt, generally we take a salt of sodium or potassium. Now say if I take NaCl and sulfuric acid and we have to heat it. The temperature should be less than 200 degrees Celsius. We get NaHSO4 and HCl. Similarly, instead of NaCl, if I take NaNO3 and H2SO4 and 200 degrees Celsius, I get here also I get NaHSO4 and plus HNO3. So you can understand we have used sulfuric acid. From sulfuric acid we have prepared hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. But by using nitric acid or hydrochloric acid we cannot prepare sulfuric acid. Okay. The reason is, these are volatile acid. So from non-volatile we can prepare volatile. Now these volatile, they evaporate, they forms fumes, and we collect those fumes of those acid, say HCl vapor, we collect and we condense and we collect. Okay. But the problem with sulfuric acid is that since it's non-volatile, now when we collect sulfuric acid vapor, because at high temperature we prepare an acid, and if we collect sulfuric acid vapor, then along with sulfuric acid vapor, HCl or HNO3 vapor will also get mixed, because these are all volatile. But sulfuric acid here is non-volatile, so it is no question of mixing with this HCl. Okay, so therefore from sulfuric acid we can prepare HCl and HNO3 like this. So temperature should be less than 200 degrees Celsius. Now similarly, instead of NaCl, if I take KCl, I can also take KNO3. So reaction will be same, only in this case we will have KHSO4 and KHSO4 in fact, and the other reaction are same. So we can either use sodium salts or potassium salts for preparing in this method. Okay, next is the physical properties of acids. So the two important physical properties are sour in taste, and naturally strong acids are corrosive in nature also. It burns skins, forms blisters, like nitric acid, sulfuric acids, concentrated, they are very corrosive to skin. And action on indicators, this litmus, methyl orange and phenolphthalein, they are called indicators. Indicators are complex chemical substance which changes color in acidic or basic medium. So by the change of color we can understand whether a solution is acidic or basic. The three most important indicators are litmus, methyl orange and phenolphthalein. Now acid turns blue litmus solution red. So if it's acid, it turns red. So blue litmus solution red. Acid turns methyl orange to pink. So methyl orange in color. So it turns pink. And phenolphthalein remains colorless. Phenolphthalein originally is colorless, and in acid it remains colorless. So these are the physical properties of acids. Okay. Okay, now next is chemical properties. Now chemical properties, the first chemical properties is the active metals plus acid gives salt and hydrogen. So this is the first property. Now acid means it is dilute HCl or H2SO4. Okay, in this case not nitric acid, I'll tell you. Active metal means which is above hydrogen in the activity series. So that means the metals which are in above hydrogen. So we take active metals. Now say sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron. Now it can be HCl, H2SO4. The only thing is that if you use HCl you will get a chloride, and if you use a sulfuric acid you will get a sulfate. So if you use Na plus HCl you will get sodium chloride. If you get Na plus H2SO4 you will get sodium sulfate. So okay, so I am just showing some of the examples. So you get sodium chloride, so I told you salt and hydrogen. So everybody will give you salt, K2SO4 plus hydrogen. Here you will have CaCl2 plus hydrogen. Here you will have MgSO4 plus hydrogen. Here you have ZnCl2 plus hydrogen, and here you have FeCl2 plus hydrogen. Okay, generally in this case we will take the valency of iron as 2, not 3. Okay, in displacement reaction. So you can understand, if I use H2SO4, what I will get? I will get Na2SO4. So same for everybody. So and only dilute HCl and H2SO4. Okay, now we don't use nitric acid means for preparation of hydrogen. You can understand this method we use for preparation of hydrogen. The first thing is that you have to understand that sodium, potassium and calcium, this should be neglected. These reactions, although it happens, but we should not do this, because especially sodium and potassium, they are highly explosive reaction. So we do not do. So generally we go for magnesium, zinc, iron, all this. And similarly, we don't use nitric acid, because I told you that nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent and it does not give hydrogen. So it produces water. Okay, so instead of hydrogen, nitric acid oxidizes the hydrogen to water, and hence we don't use nitric acid. But there are two metals which produces hydrogen, which gives hydrogen with nitric acid. So you should remember those two metals, the name of the metals, very important. So that's magnesium and manganese. They react with nitric acid, but the condition is it should be very dilute. 1% means acid should be there and 99% water. So that's we say 1% dilute. So same for manganese, HNO3, that 1% dilute, it should be containing 1% acid, and we'll get the respective salt. And when we use nitric acid, you will get a nitrate, say MgNO3 whole twice, and hydrogen, and in this case MnNO3 whole twice and hydrogens. Okay, so this is the first chemical properties of acid. Okay, next is acid plus base reacts to give salt and water, and this is called neutralization reaction. Okay, now what are bases? Now bases are oxides, the valency is O-2, and hydroxides, oxides and hydroxides of metals, and ammonium hydroxide is also a base. So any metallic oxides, metallic hydroxides, ammonium hydroxides, all these are base, and whenever a base reacts with acid, you get salt and water. So you can understand, say if it is Na2O, that is also a base, NaOH is also a base. Now if it reacts with HCl, you get sodium chloride and water. If it reacts with, here also if you reacting with NaCl, you get same sodium chloride and water. So base plus acid gives salt and water. Here also base plus acid gives salt and water. So oxides and hydroxides of metals are called base. Similarly, if you take a base and if it is sulfuric acid H2SO4, then you will get a sulfate salt Na2SO4 plus H2O. Similarly with NaOH plus H2SO4, you get Na2SO4 here also plus water. And similarly, if you take a nitric acid, say Na2O plus HNO3 nitric acid, you get NaNO3, means sodium nitrate, and say NaOH plus HNO3 also same thing, you get NaNO3 plus H2. So in every case, salt and water. Now I've just given you an example of sodium with sodium hydroxide and sodium oxide. The same thing happens for every other oxides and hydroxide. So if you take a magnesium oxide, you get magnesium chloride, magnesium hydroxide also you get. So we can use magnesium oxide, magnesium hydroxide, so we will get similar salt. So similar reactions for everybody. Okay, so this is called neutralization reaction. Okay, next is carbonates or bicarbonates reacts with acid to give salt, water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so carbonate, you know, the valency is CO3 2 minus, and this is HCO3 minus 1. So that's carbonate and bicarbonate. So suppose you take sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 plus HCl, you get NaCl, salt, you get water, you get carbon dioxide. If you take sodium bicarbonate, you know, bicarbonate also known as hydrogen carbonate. So this is sodium hydrogen carbonate plus HCl, you get NaCl plus H2O plus CO2. Now similar reaction with H2SO4. Say sodium carbonate with H2SO4 will get again Na2SO4 plus H2O plus CO2, sodium sulfate. Similarly, sodium bicarbonate with H2SO4 also will get same thing. Okay. Similarly, if you use say nitric acid, then you get nitrate, but others are water and carbon dioxide will be common. So carbonate plus acid will give you a salt. So here you will get a salt as sodium nitrate plus water plus carbon dioxide. Okay. And similarly NaHCO3. Now if you take HNO3, you get again NaNO3 plus H2O plus O2. Okay, so this is the third property. Okay, similar to that of carbonate and bicarbonate, in this case if you use a sulfite or a bisulfite and acid, you get a salt plus water plus sulfur dioxide. Okay, you get a salt, water and sulfur dioxide. Say if you take say magnesium sulfite, MgSO3 plus HCl, you get MgCl2 plus H2O plus SO2, so sulfur dioxide. Similarly, if you take MgHSO3 whole twice plus HCl, you will get again MgCl2 plus H2O plus SO2. Same thing for H2SO4. If you use H2SO4, the only difference will be you will get MgSO4, and if you use HNO3, and you will get MgNO3 whole twice. Understand? So instead of HCl, if you use H2SO4, the only difference will be magnesium sulfate. So ultimately any sulfite, any bisulfite reacts with an acid to give you salt plus water plus sulfur dioxide. Okay, and the last property is a metal sulfide. Metal sulfide plus acid will give you a salt plus hydrogen sulfide. Now hydrogen sulfide, as I've already told you, is a characteristic smell of rotten eggs. So metal sulfide, you know, any sulfide, the valence is S minus 2. So say sodium sulfide Na2S, you take an acid, what you get? You get a salt, with salt NaCl, and you get H2S. Okay, so if instead of HCl, if you use H2SO4, the only difference will be you will get Na2SO4. But again here also you will get HTS, and here also if you use HNO3, and here you will get NaNO3 plus H2S. Okay, understand? So this is the last property, and after that also you should also learn general uses of some acids in our daily life. Like it's given in your book, uses of various acid, like boric acid we use as eye wash, and acetic acid we use as a vinegar, and like nitric acid we use as an explosive. So it's given in your book. You should also learn general uses of acid. So students, acid part is over. Okay.